Hello class, welcome to lesson 13 and 14 where we are going to learn how to create and evaluate variable expressions. Here is the first half of the page. If you would like to copy the notes, go ahead and pause it. Next, here is the second half of the notes. You can go ahead and pause it there. Okay, so in this lesson, like it says, we are going to learn to create and evaluate variable expressions. In order to create and evaluate variable expressions, we need to exercise a three-step process. Step one in this process is to identify the variable pattern. Okay, so we are going to be using short word problems, kind of like this, short story problems, usually one sentence, maybe two sentences. And we're going to break those down into variables, the pattern that exists between those variables, and then what that would look like written as an expression. In our first example, it says, Carlos drew 8 more pictures than Kayla. Actually, I realize now that this then should be a than. I apologize for that slip up. Grammar is important always. However, we'll get that out of there so it's not too confusing. Anyway, we see here in this example of Carlos drew 8 more pictures than Kayla that we have a pattern of 8 more. Okay, 8 more is our pattern, and we know that we can represent that with a plus 8. So if we split this word problem into the 3 categories, we've got the variable, the pattern, and the expression. Okay, the variable, we're referring to Carlos, our 2 characters, and Kayla. Carlos we're going to represent with a C. Kayla we're going to represent with a K. Our pattern here is 8 more pictures. We know that. And here the expression, if we create an expression where we're trying to find Carlos's number of pictures, we'll start with Carlos's variable C. And we know that C, Carlos, his pictures are equal to Kayla's pictures plus 8. And if we're trying to create an expression where we want to find Kayla's, we'll start with K equals, because we're looking for Kayla, Carlos's amount minus 8. Okay. Now I know that that's a pretty quick jump from the word problem to the expression. So step 2 is to really be able to understand what we're doing with our expressions here. Step 2, understand the expression. We've broken it down here a little bit, where C equals Carlos, we know that. And if we're looking for Carlos's amount, we're going to start with him. We'll say C equals, because when we figure out C equals, it means Carlos is. K obviously refers to Kayla, and the plus 8 refers to the fact that Carlos drew 8 more than Kayla. All right. Down here, if we want to figure out what Kayla's is, let's say that's the question, how many pictures did Kayla draw? Then we would start with K equals Carlos's amount minus 8, because we know that Kayla drew 8 less than Carlos. All right, so these are the 2 ways we would structure it depending on if we were looking for Carlos's amount or Kayla's amount. If we look for Carlos, we start with C. If we look for Kayla, we start with K. Now, the third step is to just substitute values for the variable. Let's say in our statement from above, when it said Carlos drew 8 more pictures than Kayla, it went on to say, if Kayla drew 6 pictures, how many did Carlos draw? So here we're going to substitute values for the variables. If Kayla drew 6, then we just plug in 6, we substitute that into our equation. Or our expression. Our expression said C equals K plus 8, which refers to Carlos's pictures, equals Kayla's pictures plus 8. So here we replace 6 with K, drop that down, so that means Carlos's pictures equal 6 plus 8, because Kayla drew 6. Therefore, obviously we know that 6 plus 8 is 14, so Carlos drew 14 pictures. Okay, it's as simple as turning the words into an expression and plugging in numbers for the letters. I know that was kind of fast. However, that's our notes for today. We'll practice it a bunch and I think it'll become pretty simple for you pretty quickly. So thanks for listening, and goodbye.